So a little over a month ago, I aired my niche and luxury spring fragrances video, and today I'm doing a combo. Spring and summer, designer budget, skewing male, unisex and male offerings. If you want to find out what they are, then please stay tuned. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. I'm talking about spring and summer fragrances on the budget or on the designer side of things. This list is male focused, but there are several unisex options. Some of the male focused fragrances are also, I think, perfect for a woman to wear, especially something like this from the house of Zara. This Olivia Jacobetti creation. This is a very musky, clean fragrance. I didn't understand why it was targeted to men, and a woman can totally pull it off. But this is a great list of budget fragrances. I've got one bonus option as well I'm going to tell you about. But before I get to the list, be on guard today. Mystery box number 3 is dropping today. So if you've already purchased or you're on the email list, you'll receive an advanced notification for the mystery box number 3. And tomorrow is the official drop, so if you don't catch this video, you'll see my video tomorrow. But as I said, it's going to go live today. So if you are not on the list and you want to take advantage of the mystery box, please do. So let's go ahead and get started with the budget list of spring and summer fragrances. Going to the house of Karl Lagerfeld, it is Bois de Yuzu, this one right here. Bois de Yuzu. So Karl Lagerfeld's fragrances tend to be on the really inexpensive budget side. This is 100 ml for $21. It is a male targeted offering. It's a Yuzu, ginger, bergamot, grapefruit kind of a fragrance with wood. So Bois de Yuzu, bois meaning woods, yuzu meaning that yuzu fruit that's kind of like a grapefruit. Yuzu tends to have a saltiness, but this is all that zing and citrusy spiciness with moss and papyrus. There's mandarin, nutmeg, mint, and rosemary. Not a lot of warmth in here. There's a little bit of warmth with something like nutmeg, but it's all citruses and herbs and aromatics and woods. Really great offering, perfect for really warm days. I think that would be great. Moving on to AZZARO, another male targeted release. This is Aqua Verde, this one right here. So Aqua Verde is 75 ml for $23. And you know, way back in the early 2000s, I wore a lavender of one of the AZZARO fragrances that I was obsessed with. I ended up wearing 3 bottles. It's nowhere to be found. When I saw this at FragranceNet and it was such, you know, priced low, I had to buy a couple of bottles. 23 bucks for 75 ml. It's a great aromatic citrusy fragrance with green touches and some warm spices and earthy notes like vetiver and things like that. This is the kind of stuff, both of these are the kind of fragrances you can liberally spray, and you know, have this great fresh aromatic woody citrusy fragrance, and it won't break the bank. It does have Galbanum, that's why it's called Aqua Verde, so it's a green take on this kind of aromatic woody fresh citrusy kind of a thing. So Aqua Verde from the house of AZZARO, male targeted. I think a woman can totally pull that off. Next, moving on to the house of Tesori D'Oriente Muschio Bianco, this one right here. In Italy, you can find these at stores like drugstores and grocery stores for around €8 for 100 ml. Here, I found it anywhere from around $10 to $25 for 100 ml. It's a very clean. I'm sorry, not $23, 100 ml for $17. So it's very inexpensive. You can find it much cheaper, but Amazon's 100 ml for $17. But it's a very clean musk fragrance. It has a kind of a laundry-like effect here with freesia, aldehydes, rose, ylang ylang. There's jasmine, cloves, tonka, and vanilla. If you like the idea of a white musk, a very clean white musk that's very fresh, perfect for a cooling effect when it's warm outside, then this is definitely going to satisfy, and also it's not going to break the bank. Moving on to the house of Angel Schlesser, this is Sensual Patchouli. This is a unisex offering. It is also a bit priced higher, but this is also a bit more robust than the other fragrances I'm speaking about. Has greater longevity, so this one you would have to see if it works in the heat or wear it when it's cooler outside, because it does have some heft and depth to it. 100 ml, $50. Again, unisex offering here. It's patchouli, black pepper, and jasmine. Very earthy, very sparkling, spicy, woody fragrance with some floral touches thrown in. I absolutely love this one. To me, it's not overwhelming, like it's not really dense and like heavy, but there's a heft about it because it is in the end patchouli, which is a base note typically when it's in fragrances. So this is a great offering from Angel Schlesser. It's sensual patchouli. Check it out if you don't know it. I highly recommend that particular fragrance. Absolutely love it. So as usual, I tend to focus on lesser known houses, lesser known fragrances, because everybody talks about the most common ones, and I like to talk about stuff that most people are not talking about. But this next one, I'm sure everybody speaks about it. It's LALIQUE's White. This one right here comes in a 125 ml bottle for around 28 bucks. Really inexpensive. In the end, it's a kind of a spicy take on a citrusy fragrance. Citrusy, woody, aromatic, all of these come to mind. And this one, it's a lot of black pepper with Petitgrain. So you've got that spiciness from the black pepper, the green bitter earthiness from the Petitgrain. There's also tamarind, which is this kind of a tart spice. I would call this a spice. It's not a vegetable. It's shaped like a bean, but it's mostly used for spicing. There's Elemi here, cardamom, nutmeg, violet, and lots of woods and amber in the base. So it's a great fragrance to wear. It has some more depth than your typical freshie, so you can wear this when it's cooler in the spring and summertime and have this really nice, pleasant, clean fragrance that smells great. So LALIQUE's White, a really great offering. That is a male targeted release. This next one's also a male targeted release. This is Davidoff's Cool Water Intense, 125 ml, currently for $38. And if I didn't mention, I have links in the info box, and also there's the YouTube shopping tab that I've most likely have tagged these fragrances because they're sold over at FragranceNet. But this is a more deeper take on Cool Water with amber, green mandarin, and coconut. So there's a bit of a creamy, beachy kind of a take on the original Cool Water, and it has some depth to it. So it might be a bit more heavy than your typical, you know, like that aquatic signature from the Cool Water, you know, fragrance. But I think you can totally wear this one in the summertime, especially when it's actually a bit cooler outside, not as really, really hot. But you want something kind of ambery, coconutty, beachy, and of course some citrusy touches going along with it as well. I enjoy this one. I couldn't believe how good it is. This is Davidoff's Cool Water Intense. Currently selling 125 ml for $38. They do have smaller sizes of that one as well. So moving on to another fragrance. It's a little more pricier here. It's a more recent launch. This is Mercedes-Benz Air, this one right here. So this, I did a video on the 3 fragrances that launched in this collection, and this particular fragrance was my favorite of the bunch. I like its airy qualities, and I feel like this is perfect for wearing when it's extremely hot and humid outside. It's got this very cloudy like presence. It's got Angelica, so it's a bit vegetal and powdery. Wormwood, which I really, really love in fragrances, adds this kind of bitter, green kind of booziness to it. And there's Petitgrain, patchouli, woods, and turmeric. And it's very airy. Like the name really is appropriate for this. It wears airy, a bit ethereal, but it's the kind of fragrance you would wear, like I said, only in the heat, because this is the kind of stuff if you are overwhelmed with fragrance, you wear something like this and you smell really, really great. It's a great fragrance. I especially love the contrast of the Angelica note in here with the Wormwood, because I really love the way Wormwood tastes, absinthe tastes. And so here in a fragrance, I really enjoy it as well. So this is Mercedes-Benz Air. And the next one is Coach Green, this one right here. Coach Green 100 ml for $45. I was surprised at how good this is. It reminds me of an old school fragrance for men modernized. It's kiwi, rosemary, bergamot, geranium, cedar, and moss. A bit barbershop like, but more modern. It's got the fruitiness of the kiwi, but lots of aromatics, citruses, and that mossy note in here. And then of course woods with the cedar. I think Coach did a great job. 100 ml 45 is also a really great price for this. So definitely totally worth it if you haven't gotten your nose on that and you are one that consumes the more budget designer fragrances. But this next one's a classic from 30 years ago? Yeah, 30 years ago. It's Issey Miyake's L'Odyssée pour Homme. I recently did a video on 4 of these fragrances from Issey Miyake for men, and I think this one still holds up to this day. It's a very, you know, like a citrusy, invigorating kind of a grapefruity bitterness here. It's focusing on the yuzu. There's also lemon, tangerine, water lily, nutmeg, spices, sandalwood, a vetiver, amber accord, and I really like the yuzu in here. Yuzu is a grapefruit-like fruit from Japan, I believe, and it has a saltiness about it, and they typically use it in fragrances to give you a bit of a salty aquatic thing happening because they have water lily in this as well. So there's a watery effect running throughout it. And with the saltiness of the yuzu, it comes off a bit like it's a marine kind of a thing when it's not really a marine thing. I don't really care for marine fragrances, but that is one of my favorite fragrances that I wore like 30 years ago. I really, really loved it. 125 ml currently for $47. Okay, up next, going to the most expensive fragrance on the list. It's Hermès's latest H24 flanker. It's Herbe Vive, this one right here. You know, this is a really, really great fragrance. Unfortunately, it's really expensive because it's just come out. So it's not going to be at the discounters. But Macy's is currently having 15% off of Beauty. So you can take 15% off of this. It's 100 ml for 155 otherwise. Fresh herbal bouquet, pear granita, and fizz cool or psycool. So in the end, it's kind of minty. It's very herbal and aromatic. And that pear granita creates this fruity, frosted kind of an effect in the fragrance. So when you're wearing it, it gives you this very cooling, you know, effect. So when you're outside in the heat of the summer and you want something cooling, this is really, really going to satisfy. And I really like the DNA of H24 to begin with, and I feel like this is the best of the 3 fragrances that have launched now. The EDP was already really much better than the original. Now we've got the Herbe Vive. I think it's a really great job well done by Christine Nagel over at Hermès. So it is, like I said, 100 ml for $155 currently. Macy's is currently having 15% off of Beauty, so take advantage of it if you're in the market for that one. But moving on to a less expensive fragrance, I should say. This is La Martinez Maserati, this one right here. So this in the end is a bit leathery when it's drying down, so maybe this might come off a bit too intense for somebody to wear in the summertime, but I think you can get away with it or wear it when it's cooler at night or something. But this is a cypress focused fragrance with suede leather, sage, bergamot, chamomile, cedar, vetiver, angelica, mandarin. A lot of citruses, a lot of aromatics, some vegetal notes, but it does have woods, it does have leather, and it does dry down to a bit more deeper kind of ambery kind of an effect when it's drying down. But I really like the way it smells, and the cypress in here smells really, really great. It's almost like you're walking through a cypress grove wearing a leather jacket kind of a thing. And there's citruses down there, some vegetal notes and grassy notes and things like that everywhere. A great fragrance, 100 ml for $32. Check it out if you don't know that one. But moving on to the House of Zara, it's Livre Blanc, this one right here. This is my favorite of the bunch of Olivia Jacobetti created 4 fragrances. Again, it's targeted to men, but I think these fragrances are totally unisex for me. 100 ml for $36, so it's a really great price. Cotton, white woods, and musk. So in the end, for me, it's a very musky, clean fragrance, a bit soapy, and also very ethereal. So if you like something that's very nondescript, this is the kind of fragrance you would wear. I suppose it's distantly kind of similar to Tesori D'Oriente's Muschio Bianco, but for me, this is softer. There's a sharpness, a bit metallic touch about the Muschio Bianco, where this one doesn't have it. And for me, it's also a great bed scent. You can smell it, and you can use it as a layering tool, a booster, a primer, because it's not very you know, very kind of complex. It doesn't have a lot of things going on with it. In the end, cotton, white musk, and white woods and musk, and it's a really, really quality offering, but simplistic. You don't want, this is not complex, as I said. So if you like non-challenging things, definitely try Livre Blanc from the House of Zara. Next, going to the House of Ferragamo, it's bright leather. It's a fresh leather. It's a clean leather. It's a bit ozonic leather. In the end, it's going to get leathery when it's drying down. But if you don't want something very simplistic, you want some complexity, but you still want some freshness, then this is the kind of fragrance you would go for. It's white leather, bergamot, mandarin orange, basil, rosemary, cedar, grapefruit, patchouli, and musk. I think out of the collection, this one's done really nice, and it's the kind of leather you would wear when it's warm outside. You know, use with caution if you're overwhelmed by leathery notes, but for me, I like the way this smells. It's the nice contrast with more deeper, intense notes with some freshness and ozonic and you know, herbal aromatic notes. So it's Ferragamo's bright leather. Check it out if you don't know that one. All right, next up we're going to the House of Nikos with Sculpture Parfum. You're probably saying, what the heck is he talking about, a parfum concentration? But this fragrance in its original form I wore in the summertime when it first launched in around the mid-90s. So I know it's an amber, but it's more of a fresh amber. And I like to have the options of having something very intense even in the summertime. But if you're thinking this might be a bit overwhelming to wear in the summertime, go with the Eau de Toilette. But this is 100 ml for $28 currently. A great price for an amber. It's a modernized take on the original with tonka, precious amber, bergamot, bourbon vanilla, orange flowers, lily of the valley, lavender, coriander, geranium. So it does have those ambery touches, warm notes and things like that, but lots of contrast of the freshness with the fresh flowers, the lavender, which is aromatic, spices, and you name it. It's a great release, and definitely I like to have something option like this just in case it gets really cold in the summertime, or it's a cool night. You can pile it on and smell really great. So Nico's Sculpture Parfum is a really wonderful offering. But next, going to the house of Courage. It's 2050 Berry Flash. This one right here. I did a video on these budget fragrances of Courage. These numbered bottles. I can't remember the name of the collection, but it's 100 ml for $18 currently, and this is probably the fruitiest fragrance in the whole collection in this video. Juniper berry, cypress, fig, vetiver, cardamom, mandarin, cumin, geranium, musk, and laurel. It's a nice, pleasant, fruity fragrance to wear with spices, aromatics, woods, and you know, citruses all rolled into one to create a really wonderful offering. And if you want something different, a fruity fragrance in the end, definitely something like this would satisfy. And this is a designer house from France. In fact, Lucky Scent just started carrying their more expensive, higher end collection of fragrances, but this series of 4 numbered fragrances are really inexpensive over at FragranceNet, and this one definitely is one of my favorites in that series. Next, going to the house of Finery, I'm a Musk. Once again, we've got something simplistic, clean. It's a fluffy musk, cotton blossom, creamy sandalwood. The only thing is, a lot of people say this smells like pickles, which I don't get the pickles. To me, it's more of a clean musk, but do you get pickles from I'm a Musk? Let me know. It's something you can wear simplistic on its own. This is also a perfect fragrance, including the Livre Blanc for the gym, I think. It's not going to overwhelm other people while you're working out, but also as a booster, primer, enhancer in a fragrance, I think it'll work great. It's 60 ml for $35, but you can also find it for like $30 for that fragrance, and I think it's a great offering. It's a perfect fragrance to go to bed with as well. It's really calming and soothing. So this is Finery's I'm a Musk. Check that out if you don't know it. Then going to the house of Mauboussin, it's Discovery. This one right here. This is the Mauboussin take on an Aventus-like DNA. I actually really love this bottle. When I first got into the game of reviewing fragrances, there was a Mauboussin fragrance that's discontinued now that I was talking about. I'm forgetting the name, unfortunately. I'll have to put it in the info box. But this one's 100 ml for $21, and I really like the kind of matte, frosted looking bottle. Bergamot, patch or patchouli, oak moss, pink pepper, thyme, green apples, jasmine, and leather. If you're used to the DNA of Aventus, you might like this one. To me, this one's a bit more smokier for some strange reason, and I feel like even though they don't mention it, there's ambroxan in here, so kind of gives you this kind of like a powdery cloud with that whole smell of Aventus, not identical, similar, but then you've got this kind of smokiness in there that's giving you this kind of a powdery effect. So Discovery by Mauboussin, it's inexpensive, 100 ml for $21. I think it's perfect in the spring and summer. So next, going to the house of Narciso Rodriguez. It's the latest for men. It's for him, Vetiver Musk, this one right here. And after testing this out a couple more times after shooting my video, I feel like this is going to be perfect in the summertime. It's very skin scenty. I mean, it doesn't come off like it's not projecting, it just comes off subdued, so it's not really a screamer as in the smell. But I feel like there's a muskiness about this one with the vetiver and the other notes that are combined that I think it's going to make it come alive when it's warm outside, when it's in the heat. So it's cypress, nutmeg, cardamom, musk, cedar, geranium, red seaweed, vetiver, lavender, patchouli. I think they did a great job with the way it smells. I just want some more oomph for it, and when it's been cold here, I've been testing it in the cold, it doesn't really do much with it. So I feel like when it's warm outside, the fragrance is going to bloom. So this is for him, Vetiver Musk, from the house of Narciso Rodriguez. Next, a fragrance I haven't spoken about at all, this brand whatsoever. It's a brand I've discovered recently. It's a French brand called Kerzon. This is Gym Tonique, this one right here. Are you guys familiar with it? This one? This is, I remember the price in France was like 32 euros for 100 ml, but it is an eau de cologne, so you're going to need a lot of sprays with this one. So wear it when it's really, really warm outside. It's a really nice, clean, citrusy, woody, soapy fragrance with musk. There's a soap note, There's lots of citruses in here. There's woods and juniper. It smells really fantastic. Gym Tonic is a really nice name for it. Gym, not gin tonic, but Gym Tonic. And again, I love the bottle and I love the way it smells. I think in the heat that's going to come alive and smell fantastically clean on you. And the last fragrance I'm gonna, that's actually a unisex offering, but the next one is this next one's a unisex offering as well, I think. It's 4711's Aqua Colonia Wakening Woods of Scandinavia. And this is 170 ml for $40. I forgot to mention what the price of this is in dollars. $49 for 100 ml for the Curzon Gym Tonic. And the Narciso Rodriguez 100 ml for $76 currently at the discounters. So this Wakening Woods of Scandinavia has turned out to be a really great fragrance of mine. I really like its green fir note. It also has some incensey touches like olibanum. There's patchouli, rose, osmanthus, jasmine, bergamot, pink pepper, coriander, for a real nice concoction of notes that smells really, really fantastic. It's created by Geza Schoen, who's the man behind the Eccentric Molecules fragrances, and he did a great job here. It's a really, really, really fantastic smelling, woody, green, aromatic, spicy kind of a fragrance that's definitely perfect to wear when it's warm outside. Not necessarily really warm, but again, spring, summer, perfect for this. It is an eau de cologne intense, so it's not as like potent as a lot of other fragrances can be, but as a smell, this is fantastic. So this is Aqua Colonia, 4711 Aqua Colonia Awakening Woods of Scandinavia. And that's the last fragrance I have for you guys. What do you guys think of these fragrances? Let me know. Put a comment down below so I can find out. But either way, guys, let me know what you're going to be wearing this spring and summer, and give me some options that are budget, because these are all budget fragrances. Put a comment down so I can find out, and do let me know your thoughts on these fragrances. Do you know them? Have you worn them? Or are you curious to find out about them? But either way, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Don't forget, this is dropping very soon. Only if you have your name in the, in our Shopify store. So this will be dropping today for people that have put their name or have purchased in the past. Tomorrow is the official drop for mystery box number 3. We're doing less than last time, so this is going to sell out really quickly. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye. Last but not least, guys, this is a fragrance I've recommended a lot on the channel. It's a great budget fragrance, and you can wear it in the spring and summertime perhaps. This is Ajmal's Verde, which is back in stock on FragranceNet. So this is a great, great alternative to the now discontinued Tom Ford Noir Anthracite. So it's a very green fragrance, and 100 ml sells for $16. Totally worth it. It's one of my favorite budget options or budget discoveries that I really, really enjoy. 100 ml for $16. You can't even buy a Tom Ford fragrance for that price. And it smells like a Tom Ford. It's not identical to Noir Anthracite, but it does remind me of the Tom Ford quite a bit. This is featuring notes of galbanum, leather, cedar, sandalwood, black pepper, ginger, bergamot, and jasmine. And if you've been craving Noir Anthracite, you now have it here as Ajmal's Verde. Let me know if you've sampled that one. Put a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching. See you later. Bye-bye.